So here we are then for a bit of a game changer in the Lewis Hamilton career mode. We have a new mod, a AI behavior racing IQ mod. Also changes to the ERS. This has recently been released by Kolar F1, was linked to me, and we're going to trial it in this episode cold turkey with no prior testing. Now guys, the previous episode will be linked in the top right for the Monaco Grand Prix, which we did in cockpit view. Now this one, back to regular settings with the new mod in place. We're going to find out exactly what that has in store for us. Now, the previous episode was a good one. We did not win the race. That was unfortunately the target which we failed to achieve. Verstappen picking up the victory. We tried, but we finished in second place on track. And yeah, but still generally a decent weekend, but Max does close in the championship. Now, that aside, there are some pretty big updates in this one on top of the mod in place for the AI behavior change. Also, the ERS deployment is going to change. It's much like F1 23. We upgrade the aerodynamics for drag reduction, and as we move forward, I'm fully expecting us to be the quickest team heading into this weekend. However, Aston Martin, whatever update package they brought, it was a huge mammoth upgrade package because they've been nowhere all season. It's been McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes at the top, and they've actually had an upgrade knocked off with the chip taking effect. So, as you can see, look how close balancing out the field is making this field spread look. Ferrari, like Aston Martin, bring a massive update package here, and it's just really compressing the top 5 teams. And actually, even some teams in Formula B are starting to close in now. The likes of Haas, VCarb, Alpine, and even Sauber. Williams being left in the dust, but all those other teams are also starting to close things up, and the field spread is getting more compact. Now, the forecast is dry around Montreal, Canada. No surprises here on the forecast section, but we're going to hit the track and see exactly what the mod has in store. Now, the first thing I noticed was ERS drains slower, recharges slower. Generally, it's a carbon copy of how it used to work on F1 23 in terms of usage. The difference is, it's like F1 2020 where you can control the deployment modes, and that's where the mod has been based from, the F1 2020 game. Now, the issue was, I wasn't quick. The deltas don't factor this mod in, so it's really hard to beat the preset race deltas.
Well, program over, but that wasn't much help to us, I'm afraid. We need to run it again.
So it's going to make us hitting the race strategy target unlikely, but it doesn't mean we can't still do it and collect the data for the race. Now, granted, I had a very old engine on this one. A knackered power unit is the technical term for this, and also the setup was a bit conservative, but we're going to have to probably dial it up a little bit and find something for qualifying. Either way, Verstappen setting the tone in practice. We finished in 18th, 2.6 seconds away, so the field spread definitely larger as well than what I recall with this mod taking effect. So definitely a few things to note already, you know, just from a short running with this mod. Now you can see we are going to change a lot of these old components, every single one bar the IC, which we've recently changed and is around 25%. And that's going to conclude practice updates, the mod. And I'll leave the modding down below, guys, of course, with the full, transcription updates and everything it includes. And yeah, we finished with 320 R&D points to our name. Not exactly maximum, but not too shabby as we now jump into qualifying here.
It is time to go qualifying in Canada. A historic track. Looks simple, it's anything but. Welcome to Montreal.
Right, now we begin with Q1. Soft tyres on our car through the chicane. Pretty conservative run through. They're not really attacking the curbs at any point. And our first lap of the day, a 1 minute 9.8, and we're last. This is a track where it's been happy hunting ground for me as we brush the wall, and I've actually often dominated here, but we are currently last. Now, I went for a cool off and a second push lap, this time committing a bit more throughout the lap and carrying some speed here and there, and we are going to improve to a 1 minute 9.1, but we only go to P12. which is a bit of a concern. So the order seems to have shuffled a little bit here. Now currently we have a margin of about 2.5 tenths to Bottas in P15. So what I'm going to do is go back out on a fresh set of tyres. We're going to be the last car to start a lap and basically get the latest possible references. So if we're safe, we can roll out. If we get knocked out, we commit. So lap underway. I know there's a bit of time to find, but generally not a ton more than a 109.1. You can see now we're 2.5 tenths up down the back straight, but losing a bit of time as I use the wrong engine mode. But luckily no one's improving, so we roll out of it and we don't have to finish the lap, so we can save these tyres for Q2. We're finishing 13th, bottom 5 there. Albon, Berman, Pourchaire, Ocon, Bottas. No surprises from the big boys, and we move into Q2. Now, we start off with that set of tyres we just used. Is going to be the one we use for this first run, so a used compound run in this first session, and we're going to cross the line with a 1 minute 9.1, so matching our previous PB, this time for P6, which is pretty decent. Then we get dropped to P10. Now, we're only marginally safe, but Lando Norris is in the drop zone, and so is Fernando Alonso, so it's likely they'll improve, so we have to get on it and find some more pace. So we jump into our final lap in Q2. Now, this is important. We can't roll out this one. We have to commit because otherwise we get knocked out. Simple as. So here we go. We're actually the first car on track this time to start a lap rather than being the last one. I want to try and save these tyres for Q3 once I cross the line. So currently through turns 1 and 2, we're matching. Now into turns 3 and 4, the first of the chicanes, trying to carry some speed through there as we do fractionally improve in the first sector. Down to 4th as we head into the next chicane here, the left-right. Important to just clip that inside curb to get the drive on the exit. DRS open, down.
1 minute to go.
Down the back straight into the chicane. Throw the car in again for the right-left. Bit of oversteer mid-corner. We lose a little bit of time. And again, another small improvement in sector 2, but nothing to ride home about. Into the hairpin, we do keep it nice and tight on the inside. Lose a little bit on the exit as we take a tighter line. You can definitely take that corner in 2 ways, and we do find a little bit overall, so we're a 10th up, and now it's make or break. The final chicane. Full commitment on the entry.
30 seconds left in the session.
Over the curbs, brush the wall of champions, and that will do very nicely, and this will drop us into a sub 109, but no change in position. So is it enough? No, it isn't. P11, Lando Norris knocked us out. Alonso did not improve, thus ending our qualifying. So we just miss out on Q3 by 9 milliseconds over the former McLaren driver Oscar Piastri, who returned to Alpine. So there we have it. By the way, Verstappen looks dominant with this mod. Either way, it's not looking good, and the mod has taken effect in qualifying.
It is the second largest French-speaking city in the world and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. Welcome to Montreal. A 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 190 miles per hour. 2 DRS zones, 14 turns, tight corners everywhere you look, and a very narrow track. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Gasly, Norris, Sainz, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Hülkenberg, Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Joe, Bottas, Ocon, Teo Pourchaire, Behrman, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Welcome to the commentary box. overlooking the circuit. I'm Alex Jakes, and joining us for the race today is Naomi Schiff. Well, they're having a better time than their teammates so far this year. How do you keep that momentum going? Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, every driver certainly has their own way of preparing themselves before a race, but I can tell you that pre-race rituals are a real thing. When I was in go-karting, I used to touch every wheel in a specific sequence before I got into the kart. And then I stepped up to cars and had a specific set of fireproof base layers just for race day. So watch the drivers when they're on the grid. Some may be sitting on the floor and isolating, others may be up to other things that they do. But these little things really help their minds get ready for the race.
So here we go. Time for a new era in this career mode. The new mod is in place and has taken effect in qualifying. Thus, we are starting from 11th. Verstappen looks untouchable. However, that's not really what I'm worried about. The key thing here is going to be a few different factors. Number one, fuel. We've been struggling in the last few races with fuel. I've put 1.5 extra laps in the car. We'll see if the new patch changes that. Second of all, is going to be ERS. We're back to what it was essentially in F1 23 and before. So there's going to be a slower rate of battery draining. It's going to take longer to empty the battery out, but then it's going to take longer to charge it back up. So there's going to be a lot of elements there. It's like F1 23, but with the F1 24/2020 battery mode customization with hot lap, overtake, none, and medium. So there's a lot of new racing elements here in this one at stake. We're going to see what happens. I don't know what to expect. I've done no testing of this mod. It's completely new to me, and we're going to find out firsthand. Strategy-wise, we're going to start on the hard tyres. I feel like it gives us a decent shot later on in the race, hopefully once we get used to everything, to fight back on the mediums and make a bit of a push. So we'll learn on the fly and see what happens. Anyway, let's get into it. It's time for the Canadian Grand Prix. Here we go. Time for the Canadian Grand Prix. Looks like everybody on mediums. I wonder if Lando's gone for the same strategy and gone for hards, just like me. Either way, let's line her up. And let's see what this new era of Formula 1 is all about. Can we get a good start? We've been struggling with those lately. Lights on. And away we go. It's not a great start, to be fair, partly because of the tyres. Now, one thing with this mod, the damage is a lot more sensitive, which I'll speak to the mod creator about, but it's almost like a realistic damage mod. It's super sensitive, so we have to be very, very careful with, our wheel-to-wheel combat with the AI. Let's be wise, also with the battery here, all new to me, just trying to find out what works best as we have a bit of a snap there out of the chicane. So we'll get on the overtake. You can see the battery just goes down a lot slower as Sonoda goes to the outside here. We'll just hold the inside and stay in front for now. Important to stay within a second and within the DRS. Oh, that was close. Woo. Big check up on the brakes. Still helps us catch right back up. The Red Bull's already breaking away out front. They seem to be a little bit unbalanced or a little bit too quick maybe. I'll have to, again, analyse all of this after the race. At the moment, we are nowhere on the straights by the looks of it. Absolutely nowhere. So we'll have to try and factor that in for the rest of the race.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
This is going to be really, really interesting, this one, I think. Not being fast on the straights, I think. Might have to review some of my setups as well to make myself a bit more competitive. Yellow flag. That's in front or behind? It's in front. Pierre Gasly. Out of the race.
Green flag.
Sonoda having a look, but no way through for now. Just got to try and get through the first 4 or 5 laps of this one. Sonoda with the run. We'll just outbrake him and hold the inside into the hairpin. Right, now this is going to be a big test for the straight line speed. We don't have a lot of battery charge. Like, I'm struggling already to get battery back on. So this is going to be the real big challenge for me, I think, this race is trying to have battery at all times to fight with. We brush the wall of champions there and get away lucky. I need to lock in.
Someone's come off ahead of you. There's a yellow flag ahead.
That's not going to stop the AI from going for moves, but will stop Sonoda in his tracks. Just trying to see how slow running in none can be to get an idea of, you know, the battery modes and what I should be doing. First warning, just a bit too much of a haircut there through turn 3. Still all good. I've got more pace than these guys now. I can definitely try and go through, especially sector 1. It's where I'm strongest. Maybe not so much sectors 2 and 3 because of the straights, but I'm quicker than the next 3 cars. Alonso, Piastri going at it. I think a good chance here would be to get the run through the chicane down towards turn 1. We'll get on the battery and try and use our resources. Starting to manage it well. The Red Bulls are completely gone. They're broken, so they're going to get a 1-2, but I'd say there's a podium up for grabs if I can execute strategy correctly. Just don't have any straight line speed though, that's a big issue. Definitely need a bit of a setup overhaul. Having a look there, Piastri just couldn't quite go through. He does go defensive into the chicane, but we just have to wait to pick up the throttle. Up the inside. Right, lovely. Through we go. Into the points. Wow, that's some progress.
Lewis, Alonso's ahead of you. We don't want to let this hold us up too long, so do your best to get past and get on with the race.
Yeah, I'm trying, although I'm not going to have DRS on Alonso here, which is a bit of an issue. Big send through there, back end getting a little bit loose, but I need DRS. And we've got it. That's massive for us. Alonso's pacing. Alonso going for the move on Hulkenberg here. Easy does it for us. I don't think I'm going to pass Alonso. Frankly, he's very quick. He's an excellent car to follow. It's not worth it just for the sake of a challenge. I will try and get Hulkenberg here though. It's going to require a bit of a brake send to get through. We just don't have the straight line speed capacity to fight with these guys right now. Able to save some battery, but now we've got a bit of a gap to try and climb to the cars ahead. So we'll just leave it in medium and see if we can run a good pace with Fernando here. Hopefully this tyre starts to work for us. Second warning, that's a big issue. We're saving battery behind Alonso here, which is good. So I'm not complaining. He's running an excellent pace. We're catching the cars ahead. So this right now works for me beautifully. I wouldn't say I've got a lot more pace than him either because of our lack of straight line speed. I'm way quicker in sector 1, but in the other 2 sectors I suffer so much. So this for me is about right. Gap now under 3.5, nearly 3 seconds now. We're really catching this group of cars ahead. Norris has broken away, which is good news for us as a team. So he could be looking at P3, but there's a P4 on the cards as we're really closing in now. Thanks to Alonso pulling us along here. Also approaching the pit phase. I actually think I'm going to pass him here because we're about to catch the cars ahead. So there's a chance for us to get a leapfrog. I'm going to try and set up the chicane and see if we can get the run on the way through. Oh, that's a bit of a sketchy exit. Back end getting all crossed up, but we'll try it and go through. Up the inside, trying to get a track limit warning as we're on 2 already. And now let's try and race into Sainz and Stroll's DRS and get first crack at the cars in front for position. I didn't quite make it. No DRS, even though I'm within a second. Didn't quite make it at the detection point, but I believe we did manage to drop Alonso. So if we can just have a good first sector here, we should close in as cars start to pit. Leclerc, Russell in. So these two will likely box this lap, so we'll try and sit behind them, recharge.
Okay, Lewis, we've got some clear track around us now, so let's use it and make this next lap a quick one. Let's go.
The Red Bull's going long, Norris staying out, and Stroll also stays out, so that means Alonso will probably pit, which he does. So let's try and close in on Lance.
Okay, nice work. Really good job with that target, mate.
So Lance will pit. One of the Red Bulls already in and out of the pit lane. That's how dominant and quick they are. Either way, we're going to do our race. Our target is P4. Verstappen was the one to pit, and he's already rejoined on his hard tyres ahead of Norris. So yeah, it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2 barring a DNF. Let's try and work with Lando, run a good pace, and try to hopefully get ourselves in the running for a top 4 finish. Going to use hot lap here and try to burn some battery for a couple of laps. Now Checo pits. Will Lando even get ahead of him? Again, they've got such a margin over us that they can take an extra stop already, and he does actually get out ahead of Norris. So
we're approaching the pit window, and you're going to be on mediums.
That's it from the Red Bulls. Not bad. Me and Lando doing the exact same pace on that lap. So we'll box on this one. Gap to Norris 6.5. We have closed in a little bit. Cars behind though also catching us. Let's see then if we can make the mediums work. I would like to have gone longer, but I know it's also going to hamper Norris a little bit, so we're not going to try and hinder each other. Lando's got a good chance of getting P3 this race. Here we go. We need a good stop, no delays. We don't have a lot of pace up our sleeve, so we need everything to be executed perfectly. We had a fair bit of tyre wear, over 50% on the rears on those hards, so we might struggle on these a little bit, but hopefully we can manage. P9 we're going to rejoin.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Let's see now what kind of pace we have. I found moving the brake bias a bit more forward is helping us a little bit, so let's get back on the pace, and hopefully those guys ahead will be battling away so we can try to close in and make some progress. So here we go, key phase of the race. So Lando in a lap later than I thought, so it could have actually gone one more, to be fair. That would have helped us, but usually the AI teammates box a lap after you, so I would have never known. Anyway, we're trying to run the pace, and I've got to say the car feels brilliant on these tyres. I've got a lot of confidence on these. We're just bleeding a lot of time in the DRS zones, but we're setting good pace. Lando's going to be in the thick of it as well, causing a little bit of chaos on that tyre, disrupting, so it will give us a chance to hopefully catch up and make some inroads. You can see there Alonso losing time, so let's keep it up, let's keep pushing. Hopefully we'll get there soon without burning all the battery. The new mod's working because Lando has passed Alonso and Russell in pretty quick order. We are just going to miss out on DRS on this lap, but we're getting really close. Hopefully we can also just recharge for a lap behind these two and then get a move on. Try and follow Norris as closely as possible.
Okay, Lewis, lap times are a little erratic at the moment. Let's try and close up the difference between them.
Yeah, leave me to it. I'm working on it. Again, they're not quite going to get DRS. Oh my god, I didn't get it. I just missed out. Really struggling to just get within DRS of these guys. And our tyres are starting to wear. Hopefully, we'll get it here if we nail the chicane. No, again, I just can't get in. This is really frustrating. Now we've got it. Now we have it. Let's try and charge up. Oh, that's easy enough. Alonso leaving the door open for us to go through. We will take that through the chicane. Move up a spot without using any battery. And now we can prepare Russell for the overtake, hopefully.
Great stuff. It looked like you made easy work of that target. Let's try and keep that going right through to the end of the race.
Wasn't sure I was going to go for that or not, but I had a decent run through the chicane. Right, we'll leave it in hot lap / medium to try and break a gap. Tyres starting to wear now, so we don't really have the advantage anymore. So this won't be easy, but we'll try and at least drop George and Fernando from the DRS to try and give us a chance to at least finish P7. Lando's already up to 3rd. Oh wow, Alonso pits. Interesting. Not sure why. He must have got some sort of damage. broken Russell, so we've got the gap we need now. Hulkenberg out. Too late for a safety car now. We're not really catching anymore. The car's ahead, so I think this might be it for our race, I think. Oh my god. Whew. Right. Change of underwear for that one. Wow. It's over already. Verstappen's nearly lapped us. Well, we managed to lock in second half of the race, keep the car within the white lines and track limits. But I want to hear your thoughts, guys, in the comments on this mod. There is another version, which I might try, but I felt like maybe this wasn't the right move. I'm not saying I have to win, but it was a little bit unbalanced.
Yeah, it was a tough race, guys. But great job today, great job this weekend. Let's keep this consistency up. It was awesome. Thank you.
Out of the final corner for the final time, Max Verstappen takes the win.
Well, that's 2 wins in a row for them now. That's really going to help them gain confidence and start to build that momentum that they're really going to be looking for.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
So there we go, that was the Canadian Grand Prix with the new update mod for the AI behaviour. I think there's potential there. There was a few things I wasn't too sure about, like the main one, besides Red Bull being a bit too overpowered from what I can tell, a bit unbalanced, the handling's different, and I don't like that from a competitive point of view, because when I do league racing, it feels like a bit of a different game. So I don't like having to play 2 different games in terms of the way it feels, if that makes sense. So we'll see. More trial and error necessary, but this one was a tough race. And actually I enjoyed the challenge of, I was on it every single lap trying to fight back, but ultimately it just wasn't quite enough. Either way, guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. Here are the final results. So Verstappen does pick up maximum points, and that does mean for the championship he's now 6 behind. Norris 37, and then there's a bit of a margin to the Mercedes, Perez and Leclerc. In the Constructors, we lead by 53, Red Bull close the gap with the 1-2 finish, and we'll see what happens in the next one, guys. Either way, on screen now you're going to have the post-race fallout from that one, so of course we might have a few red ratings and a bit of downgrading on the stats, recognition, maybe even specialist goals because of that not so good race. But either way, we'll take it and move on to the next one. Not a big deal. Take it on the chin and keep fighting. So guys, cheers for watching. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below on the mod. Did you enjoy the episode and the new dynamic? I want to hear down below, so all the feedback. As always, shout out to the members, like, sub, check out the videos on screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and let's go back from me. Ciao.